The wrench slipped from my greasy fingers and clattered onto the concrete garage floor as I heard my wife's voice drift through the kitchen window. "It's almost done, babe. He's too dense to know what's coming." I froze, crouched beside my daughter Ellie's broken mountain bike, my hand still reaching for the fallen tool. Dense? After 15 years of marriage, after building her career from nothing while she climbed the corporate ladder at TechFlow Solutions, after fixing every broken thing in this house while she complained about my blue-collar hands, I was dense? "I'll have access to all his client files soon," Sam continued, her voice carrying that honey-sweet tone she used when she wanted something. "Then we can push him out completely. Maya's already working on the tech side." Maya, my former protege, the girl I'd taught everything about network security before she went corporate, the girl who now apparently wanted to destroy me. I stayed perfectly still, my knees aching against the cold concrete, listening to my world crumble through a screen door. "What about Ellie?" The second voice was male, younger than mine, with that cocky edge of someone who'd never had to fight for anything. Derek Vale, Sam's supposed business partner, the former college quarterback who spent more time in our kitchen than I did these days. "She's 16. She'll understand eventually," Sam replied, and I heard the clink of wine glasses. "Leon's been emotionally absent for years anyway, always buried in some computer or fixing someone else's problems." My jaw clenched. Emotionally absent? I worked 60-hour weeks to pay for this house, for Ellie's private school, for Sam's designer clothes and weekend spa trips. I fixed neighbors' computers for free because I believed in helping people, but sure, I was the problem. "When do we make the move?" Derek asked. "Maya says she needs another week to clone his client database. Once we have that, we can start our own consulting firm. His reputation, our ambition, he'll never see it coming." I picked up the wrench, my knuckles white around the handle. In the Army, we'd had a saying, "Know your enemy before they know you're watching." These two idiots had just handed me their entire battle plan. The kitchen door opened, and Sam stepped onto the back porch, her auburn hair catching the late afternoon sun. She'd always been beautiful. Sharp cheekbones, green eyes that could cut glass, legs that went on for miles. At 34, she looked better than when we'd met in college. Success suited her. "How's the bike coming, honey?" she called out, her voice switching to that fake sweet tone she used around me lately. "Just peachy," I replied, not looking up. "Should be ready for Ellie's ride tomorrow." "You're so good with your hands," she said, and I caught the double meaning. Behind her, Derek appeared in the doorway, all 6'2" of him lounging against the frame like he owned the place. He was wearing one of those expensive polo shirts that probably cost more than I made in a week, his dark hair perfectly styled even at the end of the day. "Leon?" Derek nodded, flashing that politician's smile. "Sam was just telling me about your computer repair business. Sounds fascinating." Fascinating. Like I was some quaint hobby she'd picked up at a yard sale. "It pays the bills," I said, finally standing up. At 5'10" and pushing 43, I wasn't an imposing figure, but 15 years in IT and 6 years in the military had taught me how to read people. Derek's smile never reached his eyes, and his handshake was the kind of aggressive grip meant to establish dominance. "I'm sure it does," Derek said, "though I imagine it's hard to compete with the bigger firms these days. Technology moves so fast." "I keep up," I replied evenly. Amazing what you can learn when you actually listen to people instead of just talking at them. Sam's laugh was a little too bright. "Derek's been helping me with some new client acquisition strategies. He has such innovative ideas." "I'll bet he does," I thought, watching how Derek's hand brushed against Sam's lower back as he moved past her. The gesture was casual, practiced, intimate. How long had this been going on? Months? Years? "Well, I should let you two get back to your strategizing," I said, wiping my hands on an old rag. "I've got a few more repairs to finish up." As they disappeared back into the house, I heard Derek's voice. "He seems pretty clueless." "Trust me," Sam replied. "Leon only sees what he wants to see." "Wrong, sweetheart. I see everything." That night, after Sam went to bed claiming a headache, I sat in my home office staring at the computer screen. The room was cramped, filled with towers of old hardware and cables snaking across every surface. Sam called it my tech cave, with barely concealed disgust, but it was where I did my best thinking. I pulled up our phone records first. Sam had been careful, but not careful enough. There were dozens of calls to Derek's number, many lasting over an hour, usually when I was out on service calls. The timing was surgical. She knew my schedule better than I did. Next, I checked our joint credit card statements, expensive lunches at restaurants I'd never heard of, hotel charges for business meetings in the next town over, A jewelry purchase from Tiffany's that I'd never seen her wear around me. The evidence was overwhelming, but it was the email I found that really twisted the knife. Sam had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter, careless for someone planning corporate espionage. Her password was still Ellie2007, the year our daughter was born. Some things never changed. The email thread with Maya went back 6 months. Maya: the client database is almost ready. Once I have his encryption keys, we can copy everything. Sam: perfect. Derek's already lined up 3 of Leon's biggest accounts. They're ready to jump ship once we're established. Maya: are you sure about this? Leon helped me get started in tech. This feels... Sam: Leon's been coasting for years. He's small time, always will be. We're doing him a favor by forcing him to evolve. Maya: and Derek's okay with the personal side of things? Sam: Derek understands that business comes first. What Leon doesn't know won't hurt him. I leaned back in my chair, processing the full scope of their betrayal. This wasn't just an affair. It was a coordinated attack on everything I'd built. My business, my marriage, my friendship with Maya, even my relationship with clients I'd served for years. They thought I was dense, clueless, a small-time operator who'd never see it coming. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The next morning, I drove Ellie to school like nothing had changed. She sat in the passenger seat, scrolling through her phone, and asked to be dropped off 2 blocks from school to meet a friend. Sure thing, kiddo. I pulled over and watched her grab her backpack and skateboard. At 16, Ellie was becoming more like Sam. Sharp, independent, sometimes unintentionally cruel. Thanks, she said, half out of the car, then paused. Dad, are you and Mom okay? The question hit me hard. Kids always knew. We're fine, sweetheart, I lied. Just some work stress. She nodded, but doubt lingered in her eyes. Okay, love you. Love you too. I watched her skate away, feeling something cold settle in my chest. Whatever happened between Sam and me, Ellie would be caught in the middle. My first stop was O'Hara's boxing gym, a gritty place in the industrial district where I'd been working out. Coach O'Hara, a former cop, had scars and a crooked nose to prove his years of training fighters. You look like hell, he said when I walked in. Trouble at home? Something like that. I wrapped my hands, focusing on the ritual. How do you handle it when someone's planning to stab you in the back? O'Hara stopped, turned to face me. Best offense is a good offense, but you've got to be smart. Define smart. Know your enemy better than they know themselves. Document everything. Never let them see you coming. He tossed me a pair of gloves. But first, work out that anger. I spent the next hour punching the heavy bag, each impact filled with visions of Derek, Sam, and Maya's betrayal. The physical pain felt good, clean and honest. Feel better? O'Hara asked. Getting there. I sat on the bench. What would you do if your wife was cheating with some pretty boy half your age? Depends. Want her back or want justice? I want the truth out. I want everyone to see who they really are. O'Hara nodded. Then document everything, build a case, and choose your moment. But once you start down that road, there's no going back. You sure you're ready? I thought about Sam's insults, Derek's smirk, Maya's betrayal. Yeah, I said. I'm ready. Next, I drove to an electronics store out of town and bought sophisticated tools, micro cameras, audio recorders, GPS trackers, and a burner phone. That afternoon, while Sam was at her client meeting and Ellie was at school, I turned our house into a surveillance network. Cameras in the living room and kitchen, audio bugs, and a GPS tracker on Sam's car. The work was methodical, satisfying. I was good at this, understanding systems, finding vulnerabilities. Sam thought I was just a computer repair guy, but I had 6 years in military intelligence. I knew how to gather information without leaving traces. By the time Sam came home, I was in the garage, working on a neighbor's laptop. How was your day? She asked, leaning in the doorway, flushed, lipstick smudged, blouse wrinkled as though hastily put back on. Same old, I replied, not looking up from the screen. Fixed Mrs. Peterson's virus problem, updated the Johnsons' network security. You? Productive meeting with a potential new client. Derek thinks we might land the Meridian Industries account. We. Not TechFlow Solutions, not the company that actually employed her. We. The casual pronoun felt like another small betrayal. That's great, honey. Big commission? Could be. She moved closer, and I caught a whiff of unfamiliar cologne mixed with her usual perfume. Leon, I've been thinking. Maybe it's time you considered expanding your business, bringing on some partners, maybe updating your approach. My approach works fine. But it could work better. Derek has some ideas about modernizing your client management, maybe moving into cloud services. I finally looked up at her. Derek has ideas about my business? He's just trying to help. He has an MBA from Northwestern, experience with scaling small companies. And what makes him think my company needs scaling? Sam's smile faltered slightly. I just thought, we're not getting any younger, Leon. Maybe it's time to think bigger. Bigger like TechFlow Solutions? Maybe. She was warming to the subject now, probably rehearsing arguments she'd practiced with Derek. You could bring your client base, your technical skills. Derek could handle the business development, the marketing. And you? I could manage the transition, help coordinate between departments. It was almost impressive how smoothly she delivered the pitch. They'd thought this through, probably spent hours planning how to sell me on my own destruction. The only thing missing was the part where they explained what happened to me after the transition. I'll think about it, I said, turning back to the laptop. Really? Really. I saved my work and closed the computer. But first, I'd want to see some concrete proposals, business plans, financial projections, that kind of thing. I'm sure Derek can put something together with that Northwestern MBA. Sam's face lit up. Of course. He'll be so excited to hear you're interested. I'll bet he will, I thought. Nothing like a mark who walks willingly into the trap. That night, I sat in my office reviewing the day's surveillance footage on my laptop. The hidden cameras had captured Sam making 3 phone calls to Derek, each one more animated than the last. The audio was crystal clear. He's actually considering it. I think the partnership angle is working. No, he doesn't suspect anything. You should have seen his face when I mentioned expanding. Tomorrow, are you sure that's safe? What if he comes home early? Tomorrow. Whatever they were planning, it was happening soon. I leaned back in my chair, staring at Sam's image frozen on the screen. Even plotting my downfall, she was beautiful. But beauty without loyalty was just decoration, and I was done being impressed by pretty things that couldn't be trusted. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Your wife's car is at the Riverside Motel, room 237. Thought you should know. A friend. I stared at the message for a long moment, then deleted it. Whoever sent it was either trying to help me or set me up, but it didn't matter. I already knew where Sam was and what she was doing. The question was what I planned to do about it. I opened my laptop and began typing a detailed log of everything I'd discovered. Dates, times, evidence, witnesses. If this was going to be war, I needed to document every battle. Outside, the first snow of the season was beginning to fall, coating our suburban street in pristine white. By morning, it would be dirty and trampled, just another layer of deception covering the ugly truth underneath. Just like my marriage. The Riverside Motel sat on the edge of town like a guilty secret, the kind of place where people went when they didn't want to be seen. I parked across the street at 2:47 p.m., exactly when my GPS tracker showed Sam's car arriving. Through the falling snow, I could see Derek's silver BMW already in the lot. Room 237, second floor, corner unit with a view of the highway. I sat in my truck for 20 minutes, watching their shadows move behind the thin curtains, feeling something cold and final settle in my chest. This was it, the moment when suspicion became certainty, when marriage became war. Instead of storming upstairs like some cliched wronged husband, I walked calmly to Derek's BMW and knelt beside the rear tire. The knife slid through the rubber with a soft hiss, followed by the satisfying sound of escaping air. I repeated the process on all 4 tires, then used the knife's tip to carve "thief" into the paint on the driver's side door. For the finale, I slipped the burner phone I'd prepared into his glove compartment, already loaded with a recording I'd made from yesterday's surveillance footage. Sam and Derek's voices, crystal clear, discussing their plans to destroy my business and steal my clients. The recording would loop automatically for the next hour. Let them figure out how to explain that to their spouses, employers, and anyone else who might be listening. Back in my truck, I called Coach O'Hara. It's Leon. I need a favor. What kind of favor? The kind that involves a video camera and a very public place. How do you feel about being my witness? Depends what I'm witnessing. Justice. There was a pause. I'll be there in 20 minutes. While I waited, I composed an email from an anonymous account I'd set up that morning. The recipient list included Sam's boss, Derek's ex-wife, Maya, and about 50 employees at TechFlow Solutions. The subject line read, "The truth about your colleagues." The email contained 3 attachments: photos of Sam and Derek entering the motel together, audio recordings of their conversations about stealing my business, and a detailed timeline of their affair correlated with company meetings and business trips. I didn't send it yet. That would come later, when the timing was perfect. O'Hara arrived in his beat-up Chevy, parking next to my truck. He was wearing his usual uniform of jeans and a flannel shirt, but I could see the cop in his eyes, alert, assessing, ready for trouble. "You sure about this?" he asked, climbing into my passenger seat. "They called me dense," I said. "Time to show them how smart dense can be." "What's the play?" "We wait for them to come down, then we document everything. I want video of them together, audio if possible, and I want witnesses who can testify that this isn't some setup or manipulation. And then? Then I destroy their lives the same way they plan to destroy mine." We didn't have to wait long. At 4:15, the door to room 237 opened, and Sam stepped out first, looking around nervously before motioning for Derek to follow. Even from across the street, I could see her disheveled hair, his wrinkled shirt, the guilty body language of two people who knew they were doing something wrong. O'Hara was filming with his phone as they walked toward Derek's car, Sam laughing at something he whispered in her ear. They looked happy, carefree, like a couple without a care in the world. That lasted until Derek saw his tires. "What the hell?" His voice carried across the parking lot as he knelt beside his BMW, examining the damage. "Son of a bastard!" Sam moved closer, her face pale. "Who would do this?" "I don't know, but they're going to pay for it." Derek pulled out his phone, probably to call a tow truck, then froze. "Do you hear that?" The recording from the glove compartment was playing loudly enough to be heard outside the car. Sam's voice, clear as a bell. "Leon's been coasting for years. He's small time, always will be. We're doing him a favor by forcing him to evolve." Derek yanked open the glove compartment and pulled out the burner phone, staring at it like it was a live grenade. "How did this get here?" Sam's voice was shrill now, panic replacing confidence. "How did someone record us?" "I don't know." Derek was desperately trying to turn off the phone, but I disabled the power button. The recording would keep playing until the battery ran out. O'Hara was getting it all on video, their panic, their guilt, their complete loss of composure. This was better than I'd hoped. "We need to get out of here," Sam said, looking around nervously. "With what? My tires are slashed." "Call an Uber or someone. We can't be seen together, not with that recording." They called Derek's brother for a ride and huddled in the motel lobby, jumping at every car. The confident conspirators from yesterday were now terrified, realizing they weren't as smart as they'd thought. "Got everything?" I asked O'Hara. "Oh yeah, this is better than reality TV." "Good. Phase 2 starts tonight." That evening, I sat with Sam and Ellie, listening to Sam's carefully constructed lies about her day. "Busy afternoon at the office," she said. "Derek and I met a client in Riverside." "Riverside?" I asked. "Isn't that where Meridian Industries is?" "Right," she over-explained. "We had car trouble. Someone slashed all 4 tires." "Did you call the police?" Derek handled it. "I knew there were no reports in Riverside." "Terrible," I said. "Are you okay?" "Fine, just tired. Maybe take a bath. I'll clean up." She nodded and went upstairs, probably to call Derek. I turned to Ellie. "How's school?" "Okay. Dad, are you and Mom getting divorced?" The question hit me hard. "Why do you ask?" "You don't talk anymore. Mom's secretive. She bought new underwear." "New underwear?" "Expensive stuff. For new guys, not husbands." Ellie had figured it out. "Ellie, it sucks, but I saw it coming," she said, hugging me. "Just don't let her screw you over." Later, at 11 p.m., I sent the email. 53 recipients, photos, audio recordings, and a detailed explanation of Sam and Derek's plan to ruin me. Subject: the truth about your colleagues. The explosion came at 6:47 a.m. Maya, Derek's ex-wife, and others called and texted, furious. Social media buzzed with screenshots. Sam's phone rang nonstop as she paced in the kitchen, pale. "Leon," she said, "we need to talk." "About what?" I asked, making coffee. "Don't play games. I know you sent those emails." "What emails?" She grabbed my arm. "The ones with the photos and the lies about Derek and me." I pulled away. "Lies? You know what I mean?" "Actually, I don't. Explain it to me. Start with Riverside." Her composure cracked. "That's not what this is about." "No? Then what is it?" "Someone's sabotaging my career, spreading rumors about TechFlow." "Maya thinks it's corporate espionage?" "Yes, she's concerned." "Maya thinks that?" I set my coffee down. "Are you having an affair with Derek Vale?" Silence. She calculated, then answered, "No." "You're lying." "I'm not." "You're lying, and we both know it." I showed her the video from yesterday. "Want to see the footage of you and Derek leaving the Riverside Motel? Or should I skip to the part where you're plotting to steal my clients?" Her face went white. "You followed me?" "You left a trail." "Leon, I can explain." No, I said calmly. There's no explanation for betrayal. No excuse for what you planned. She started crying, the manipulative tears she'd used to get out of trouble for years. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Derek and I, we connected, and the business thing was Maya's idea. She said it would be better for everyone if we consolidated. Better for everyone except me. You would have been a partner. A junior partner in my own company, you mean, with my own wife and my former protege controlling the board. She wiped her eyes, smearing mascara across her cheeks. It doesn't have to be like this. We can work something out. Derek's willing to step back, focus on other opportunities. Derek's willing to step back because his career just imploded, along with yours. What do you mean? I showed her my phone, open to TechFlow Solutions' internal message board. The top thread was titled Emergency Meeting, All Staff, and had been posted 20 minutes ago by the company president. Your boss wants to see you in his office at 9 a.m., I said. Something about allegations of professional misconduct and potential corporate espionage. I'm guessing Derek got a similar message. Sam grabbed the phone from my hands, reading the thread with growing horror. The comments from her colleagues were brutal. Everything from professional disappointment to crude jokes about her personal life. You've destroyed me, she whispered. No, Sam, you destroyed yourself. I just made sure everyone could see it. She looked up at me with something I'd never seen in her eyes before. Genuine fear. What do you want? I want you to pack a bag and leave. Today. This is my house, too. Actually, it's not. Check the deed. I bought this place 2 years before we got married, and I never added your name to the title. Another little detail she'd overlooked in her rush to plan my downfall. Legally, you're a guest who's overstayed her welcome. You can't kick me out. I have rights. You have the right to find somewhere else to sleep tonight, preferably with Derek, assuming his wife doesn't burn down his apartment. The front door slammed, and Ellie walked into the kitchen, stopping short when she saw Sam's tear-streaked face and my grim expression. Okay, she said slowly. So we're doing this now. Ellie, honey. Sam started. Mom, don't. Ellie held up a hand. I saw the emails. Ashley's mom forwarded them to like everyone in town. The whole school's talking about it. Sam's face crumpled. Sweetheart, you don't understand. It's complicated. It's really not. You cheated on Dad with some loser, and you tried to steal his business. That's not complicated. That's just shitty. Ellie, what? You want me to pretend this is okay? You want me to act like you didn't just blow up our entire family for some midlife crisis? I put a hand on Ellie's shoulder. That's enough. No, Dad, it's not enough. She doesn't get to play victim here. Ellie turned back to Sam. You made your choice. Deal with the consequences. Sam looked between us, realizing that she'd lost both of us, that there was no manipulation or explanation that would fix this. I'll pack a bag, she said quietly. Good. You have an hour. As Sam headed upstairs, Ellie slumped into a kitchen chair. So what happens now? Now we figure out how to move forward. Are you going to be okay? Financially, I mean? I almost smiled. Even in the middle of family destruction, my daughter was thinking practically. I'll be fine. Better than fine, actually. Turns out that when people try to steal your business and it backfires spectacularly, your remaining clients become very loyal very quickly. My phone had been buzzing with calls all morning, not just gossip and drama, but actual business inquiries. 3 of my biggest clients had already called to reaffirm their contracts and ask about expanding services. Apparently, the attempted betrayal had made me look like the victim, while Sam and Derek looked like scheming corporate climbers. And Maya? Maya's about to learn that corporate espionage has consequences. What kind of consequences? I pulled up another email on my phone, this one from TechFlow's head of IT security. The kind where her access to company systems gets revoked while they investigate how client data might have been compromised. The kind where her reputation in the tech industry becomes toxic overnight. Damn, Dad, remind me never to cross you. Language. Sorry. But seriously, this is some next-level revenge stuff. She wasn't wrong. In the span of 12 hours, I'd destroyed 3 careers, exposed a conspiracy, and probably ended my marriage. The old Leon would have been horrified at the collateral damage. The new Leon was just getting started. Upstairs, I could hear Sam moving around, opening drawers, closing suitcases. In a few minutes, she'd be gone, and I'd have to figure out how to explain to everyone why my wife had suddenly moved out. Actually, I wouldn't have to explain anything. The emails had done that for me. My phone rang again. This time it was Coach O'Hara. How you holding up? He asked. Better than expected. You? I've been getting calls all morning from people who saw that video. Half the town wants to buy you a drink, the other half wants to know if you're taking new clients. New clients? Turns out there's a lot of respect for a man who fights back when someone tries to screw him over. Word is you're the guy to call when you need computer problems solved and you want someone you can trust. Trust. Funny how that worked. Lose it at home, gain it everywhere else. Leon? Sam's voice came from the top of the stairs. I'm ready. I walked to the bottom of the staircase and looked up at her. She was carrying 2 suitcases and wearing the same black dress she'd worn on our first date 15 years ago. Even now, even after everything, she was trying to manipulate me with nostalgia. Where will you go? I asked. Derek's getting a hotel room, just until we figure things out. Good luck with that. She came down the stairs slowly, like she was walking to her execution. At the bottom, she stopped and looked at me with those green eyes that had once made me forget how to breathe. I'm sorry, Leon. I really am. No, you're not. You're sorry you got caught. That's not true. Sure it is. If I hadn't found out, you'd still be planning to ruin me, still be stealing my clients, still be sleeping with Derek in cheap motels, still be calling me oblivious behind my back. She flinched at the crude language, but didn't deny it. For what it's worth, she said, I never meant for it to go this far. It went exactly as far as you planned. The only thing you didn't plan for was me fighting back. She nodded, hefted her suitcases, and walked toward the door. At the threshold, she turned back one more time. What about Ellie? What about her? Custody, visitation, we need to work something out. We'll work it out through lawyers. Real ones, not Derek. The door closed behind her with a soft click, and just like that, my marriage was over. Ellie appeared beside me, watching through the window as Sam loaded her suitcases into her car. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I think I am. Good. Because I have a feeling this is just the beginning. She was right. This was just the beginning, and I was just getting warmed up. 3 weeks later, I was sitting in O'Hara's gym, wrapping my hands for what had become a daily ritual when Derek Vale walked through the front door. He looked like hell. His usually perfect hair was disheveled, his expensive clothes wrinkled, and there were dark circles under his eyes that spoke of too little sleep and too much stress. The golden boy had lost his shine. Leon. His voice was hoarse, uncertain. We need to talk. Every conversation in the gym stopped. O'Hara looked up from the heavy bag he'd been working, his expression dangerous. The other fighters, mostly blue-collar guys who'd heard the whole story by now, moved closer, forming a loose circle around us. About what? I asked, continuing to wrap my hands. About calling off the dogs. About ending this campaign you're running against me and Sam. I looked up at him, genuinely confused. Campaign? Don't play stupid. You know what you've done. Enlighten me. Derek's composure cracked slightly. The emails, the social media posts, the phone calls to my clients, my family, my friends. You've systematically destroyed my reputation, my business relationships, my marriage. Your marriage was already over. Jennifer filed for divorce 6 months ago, remember? Something about you cheating with multiple women and stealing from joint accounts. That's not the point. Then what is the point, Derek? He looked around the gym, taking in the hostile faces surrounding us, and seemed to realize that he'd walked into enemy territory. The point is that you've made your statement. Everyone knows what happened, but this has gone beyond justice. This is persecution. I stood up, testing the wraps on my hands. Persecution? Yes. And it needs to stop. Or what? Or I'll be forced to take legal action. The gym erupted in laughter. O'Hara actually snorted, shaking his head in disbelief. Legal action? I asked. For what? Harassment, defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress. With what evidence? Everything I've shared has been true, documented, and verifiable. Your own words, your own actions, your own choices. That's not the point. That's exactly the point. I moved closer to him, and he instinctively stepped back. You tried to destroy my life, Derek. You conspired with my wife to steal my business, corrupt my protege, and leave me with nothing. The only difference between us is that when I fought back, I won. This isn't a game, Leon. You're right, it's not a game. It's consequences. Derek looked around the gym again, his face pale and sweaty. Look, I know I made mistakes. We both did. But Sam's talking about extreme measures. She's not handling this well. What kind of extreme measures? She thinks you're going to try to take Ellie away from her, permanently. She's talking about preemptive strikes, about making accusations that would what? That would paint you as an unfit father, abusive, dangerous. The gym went silent. Even the sound of traffic outside seemed to fade away. Are you threatening me, Derek? I'm warning you. Sam's desperate, and desperate people do stupid things. If you back off, give her some breathing room. Maybe we can all move forward without anyone getting hurt. I looked at this man who'd helped plan my destruction, who'd slept with my wife in cheap motels while plotting to steal everything I'd worked for, and felt something cold and final settle in my chest. O'Hara, I called out, not taking my eyes off Derek. You still got those gloves in my size? Sure do. Derek, you any good with your hands? What? Boxing, fighting, physical confrontation. You played football in college, right? You must know something about contact sports. Derek's face went white. I'm not going to fight you. Why not? You've been fighting me for months. The only difference is now it's out in the open. This is insane. This is justice. You want to threaten my relationship with my daughter? You want to help my ex-wife make false accusations about me being abusive? Let's see how tough you really are when you're not hiding behind lies and manipulation. I'm not doing this. Then get the hell out of my gym. Derek looked around one more time, realized he had no allies here, and headed for the door. At the threshold, he turned back. This isn't over, Leon. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. After Derek left, O'Hara handed me a pair of gloves. You think he'll follow through on those threats? Probably. Sam's desperate enough to try anything, and Derek's stupid enough to help her. What's your move? I'm going to end this. Tonight. That evening, I drove to the address Maya had been using since she moved out of her apartment, a rundown duplex on the wrong side of town, the kind of place people went when their careers imploded and their savings ran out. I knocked on the door, and Maya answered wearing sweatpants and a stained t-shirt, looking nothing like the polished tech executive she'd been a month ago. Leon. She didn't seem surprised to see me. I wondered when you'd show up. We need to talk. About what? How you've destroyed my life? How I can't get a job interview anywhere in the state because of what you did? About the truth. She laughed bitterly. The truth? You want the truth? Fine, come in. The duplex was a mess. Empty pizza boxes, beer bottles, clothes scattered everywhere. Maya had always been obsessively neat, so seeing her living like this was jarring. Drink? She asked, gesturing to a half-empty bottle of whiskey on the coffee table. I'm good. Suit yourself. She poured herself 3 fingers of whiskey and drank half of it in one gulp. So, what do you want to know? I want to know why. I taught you everything you know about network security. I recommended you for the job at TechFlow. I was your friend, Maya. Why did you betray me? She was quiet for a long moment, staring into her glass. Because you never saw me, she said finally. What? You never saw me as anything more than your student, your protege, your little project. She looked up at me with eyes full of pain and anger. Do you know how many times I tried to get you to notice me? How many late nights I stayed at your office, hoping you'd finally see me as a woman instead of just some kid you were mentoring? The pieces clicked into place. Maya. I was in love with you, Leon, for years, and you never even noticed. You were married. To a man I settled for because the man I really wanted was too blind to see what was right in front of him. She finished her whiskey and poured another. So when Sam came to me with her plan, when she offered me a chance to finally have something you'd built, something that mattered to you, I said yes. Even knowing it would destroy me? Especially knowing it would destroy you. If I couldn't have you, at least I could have your business, your clients, your reputation. I sat down across from her, processing this revelation. And now? Now I have nothing. No job, no marriage, no future in tech. My husband left me when the emails came out, my reputation is shot, I'm 32 years old and starting over from zero. Maya, don't, she held up a hand. Don't you dare pity me. I made my choice. I knew the risks. What about Sam's plan to make false accusations against me? Maya's expression hardened. What about it? Are you going to help her? Why would I? She threw me under the bus the minute things went bad. Blamed everything on me, said I was the mastermind, that she was just following my advice. So you won't support her story? Leon, I may be bitter and stupid and self-destructive, but I'm not evil. I won't help anyone make false accusations about child abuse or domestic violence. That's a line I won't cross. I stood up, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, and I've done enough wrong things lately. At the door, I turned back. For what it's worth, Maya, I'm sorry I never noticed. You deserved better. Yeah, I did. But I also deserved what I got. Funny how that works. The final confrontation came 3 days later at Ellie's school. I was picking her up from basketball practice when I saw Sam's car in the parking lot. She was sitting behind the wheel, talking animatedly on her phone, gesturing with her free hand in a way that suggested she was upset about something. Ellie came out of the gym, saw her mother's car, and sighed. "She's been calling me all week," Ellie said as she got into my truck. "Wanting to meet, wanting to tell her side of the story. I keep telling her I don't want to hear it." "What does she want?" "She wants me to live with her and Derek. Says you're not stable, that you're obsessed with revenge, that she's worried about my safety." "And what did you tell her?" "I told her that if anyone's not stable, it's the woman who threw away her family for a guy she met at a corporate retreat." Through my rearview mirror, I could see Sam getting out of her car, walking toward us. She looked determined, desperate, like someone making a last-ditch effort to save something unsalvageable. "Dad," Ellie said quietly, "I need you to know something. Whatever she says, whatever accusations she makes, I know they're not true. You're not perfect, but you're not abusive or dangerous or any of the things she's been hinting at." "Thank you, sweetheart." Sam reached my truck and tapped on the passenger window. Ellie rolled it down reluctantly. "Hi, baby," Sam said, her voice artificially bright. "Can we talk? Just for a few minutes?" "We're talking now," Ellie replied. "I mean privately, without your father listening in." "No." Sam's smile faltered. "Ellie, there are things you need to know about your father's behavior, about what he's been doing to me and Derek." "You mean like how he exposed your affair and your plan to steal his business?" "Yeah, Mom, I know all about that. The whole town knows about that." "That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the harassment, the threats, the way he's been stalking us." "Mom, stop." Ellie's voice was firm, adult. "Just stop. Dad didn't harass you. He defended himself. Dad didn't threaten you. He exposed you. And Dad didn't stalk you. He caught you." "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly. You got caught cheating and trying to destroy Dad's business, so now you're trying to make him look like the bad guy. But it's not going to work, because I was here. I saw what really happened." Sam's composure finally cracked completely. "He's turned you against me. Can't you see that? He's poisoned your mind with his version of events." "His version is the truth, Mom. Your version is damage control." Sam looked at me through the driver's window, her face twisted with rage and desperation. "This isn't over, Leon," she said. "I won't let you take my daughter away from me." "I'm not taking her anywhere, Sam. She's choosing. There's a difference." "We'll see about that." She turned and walked back to her car, her heels clicking angrily on the asphalt. As she drove away, I could see her on her phone again, probably calling Derek or a lawyer or whoever she thought might help her salvage this situation. "Is she going to cause more trouble?" Ellie asked. "Probably. But it doesn't matter. The truth is out, the evidence is documented, and the people who matter know what really happened." "What about Derek's threats? The stuff about false accusations?" "Maya won't support Sam's story, Derek's credibility is shot, and you're old enough to testify about what you've actually witnessed. Any lawyer worth his fee will tell Sam that false accusations would just make her situation worse." Ellie nodded, then leaned back in her seat. "Dad?" "Yeah?" "I'm proud of you, for fighting back, for not just rolling over and letting them destroy you." "Thanks, kiddo." "But I'm also kind of scared of you now. In a good way, I think. Like, I always knew you were smart, but I didn't know you were ruthless." I thought about that as we drove home. Ruthless. Maybe that was the right word. Maybe that was what I'd had to become to survive this. "Sometimes," I said finally, "the only way to deal with people who want to destroy you is to destroy them first. I didn't start this war, Ellie, but I sure as hell finished it." That night, as I sat in my home office reviewing the day's emails and messages, I realized that it was over. Really over. Sam's career at TechFlow was finished. She'd been terminated for violation of ethics policies and potential corporate espionage. Derek's consulting business had collapsed as clients fled and his reputation became toxic. Maya was blacklisted from the tech industry and facing potential criminal charges for data theft. My own business, meanwhile, was thriving. The publicity from the scandal had brought me more clients than I could handle, all of them drawn by my reputation for loyalty, honesty, and technical competence. I was making more money than I ever had, working with people who respected and trusted me. Ellie was doing well in school, her grades actually improving now that the stress of her parents' failing marriage was resolved. She'd chosen to live with me full-time, visiting Sam every other weekend in an arrangement that satisfied the courts and avoided any messy custody battles. I'd won. Completely, decisively, overwhelmingly. But as I sat there in the quiet of my house, surrounded by the evidence of my victory, I felt something unexpected: emptiness. For months, revenge had given my life purpose, direction, meaning. Every day had been focused on gathering evidence, planning strategy, executing the next phase of my campaign against the people who'd betrayed me. Now what? My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Congratulations. You destroyed 3 lives and ruined a family. I hope you are proud of yourself." I stared at the message for a long moment, then deleted it. Whoever had sent it didn't understand. I hadn't destroyed 3 lives. I'd revealed 3 people who had already destroyed themselves through their own choices, their own betrayals, their own lies. I hadn't ruined a family. I'd exposed the fact that my family was already ruined, had been ruined the moment Sam decided to betray everything we'd built together. All I'd done was make sure the truth came out. All I'd done was fight back. All I'd done was win. And if that made me the villain in someone else's story, so be it. I'd rather be the villain who told the truth than the victim who stayed silent. I'd rather be the man who fought back than the fool who let himself be destroyed. I'd rather be Leon Graves, the ruthless bastard who won, than Leon Graves, the dense husband who never saw it coming. Outside, snow was falling again, covering the suburban street in fresh white powder. By morning, it would be dirty and trampled, just another layer of deception covering the ugly truth underneath. But tonight, it was clean and pure and beautiful. Tonight, it was perfect, just like my revenge.